John Pierce. I'm going to be talking about starting the Limpets program. I was one of John's last students and was lucky enough to be in a lineage of some amazing people who John would always refer to as our extended family, part of my family now because we were all students of John's. Someone made this at a conference when we were honoring him in Santa Cruz in the early 2000s. Limpets is a long-term monitoring program and experiential training for students, and it's a citizen science program that monitors coastal ecosystems in California and really helps youth develop a scientific understanding of the ocean. So what we did was John, Christy Rowe, and myself worked together for many years in the Limpets realm to figure out the protocols, the right species, the right methods, and if students could actually count in a way that made that data able to be used for the future to monitor some of these areas. Many people told John, oh, this was really going to be too complicated, too hard. Students couldn't collect data that was usable. But John had a mission, he had a vision for this. And he had been collecting data at sites up and down the Monterey Bay coast for years and years and years. And he wanted a place for all those data to live where students could actually access it, do science fair projects, and compare changes over time. So he never gave up. He wanted to involve the kids and preserve and protect the intertidal. So we would bring people out and try all sorts of methods. We would take, photos and bring them back to the classrooms and see if that was an easy way for people to identify the species. We would do point counts. We would do various numbers of quadrats. We would modify the species list. Christy brought out Pisco people to count alongside the students to see if their counts were at all comparable. We really did a lot of work in these years, getting teachers, getting the students out there. I'll never forget our learning curve. One day we had a group of students clothes that you definitely would not want to get wet. And John turned to me and said, it looks like we're gonna have to be more specific about what field clothes are. So we were learning a lot and seeing a lot of different creatures and invertebrates and just watching people really grow to love this area and want to preserve and protect it, and presenting at conferences about what we were seeing and the differences in students' ability and desire to even look at science in terms of being interesting and wanting to look at data. We can't talk about limpets without thanking Vicki during this time. Her paper came out about Anthoplura sola, the new species of solitary sibling species to Anthoplura elegantissima. And so we had to change our species and our counts and go back and make sure that we were counting the correct species. We presented in conferences. We went all over to talks and wrote publications about what we were doing for 7th through 12th graders and our species list and our trainings that we did for the classroom. And really were able to compare trained college students and the Harbor High, for example, students and the plots, and looking at the confidence intervals and realizing that they could do the counts. And what's been so amazing and exciting is that Limpets has now been taken over, and they've received new partnerships, the Pacific Grove Museum, the Greater Farallon Association. There's been new 5-year strategic plans, and they're still going strong. And the vision is the same, to inspire the next generation to understand, value, and participate in science. So John's legacy is really continued. To date, in the 2018-19 school year, there was over 6,900 teachers and students that went out and 14,000 citizen science hours collected. And in 1920, over 7,000. Because of COVID, it was a little bit less, but John has been amazing in starting this program, and we're just so thankful. to have worked with him.